Everybody's looking for a hero.
Uplifting, informative, emotional, sadness, hope.
But to be surprised by the Reeves family after the tears we just had, so heartwarming, so kind. It was really a very, very emotional moment.
What I love and then get inspired so much about a success story is just like when someone gets from nowhere to success and then drops all the way down back up to success.
It's still getting me now.
Mm.
It's still getting me now because I think it was Glenn Close who says that if Chris was around, Robin would still be around as well.
I think a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles.
What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out reviews. And today we're reviewing Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. Now, this documentary came out a couple weeks back. Kibla again had an amazing opportunity not only to see it in advance, but able to meet not only again the directors and the writers, but the Reeves family, which must have been very emotional, especially after seeing this documentary. And we'll talk about that as we go through this. But basically, this documentary kind of highlights, and a deep dive into the life, career, and legacy of Christopher Reeves, with a focus on his portrayal of Superman and his journey and advocating for spinal cord injuries research leading to the Christopher Reeves Foundation. So this is literally an emotional and inspiring journey with a little bit of nostalgia just because of Superman. And why this is significantly important for Superman fans, because in our generation, for us, he is the face of Superman. And with all respect with the live action Superman movies that they've made after Christopher Reeves, they've always kind of showed a respect to at least a replica of his face. In The Man of Steel, I believe there was that one scene where it was his face. I believe it was. And like I said, in our generation, he has put the face on Superman. That Superman movie was, I guess you could say, one of the first epic superhero movies that came out. So that's why it definitely, and it led the way for all the superhero movies, to this day, you could say. So that's why it means a lot to not just, the focus on the Christopher Reeves Foundation, but also as Superman fans. This was directed by, and forgive me if I butcher names, man, Kibla, please jump in though. So directed by Ian Bonhot, and Peter Etigue. And then the writers was again Ian Bonholt, Otto Burnham, and then Peter Etigue. Again, forgive me if I butcher the names. The cast, obviously, is gonna have Christopher Reeves and loads of clips of Christopher Reeves. It had Dana Reeves, which was his wife, Alexandra Reeves Givens, which is his daughter, Matthew Reeves' son, Will Reeves was his son, Gay Exton, who was in it, who was his ex, and then there's loads of other stuff. Kevin Johnson was his brother, Richard Donner, who directed the first Superman movie, and then you had best friends and people he worked with, Robin Williams, Jeff Daniels, Whoopi Goldberg was in it as well. But it's a long list.
Yeah, Susan Sarandon, yeah. Loads. It's a long list.
Long list of anyone who was close to him, involved in not just the Christopher Reeve Foundation, which was huge, but his acting career and all that sort of stuff as well, and just being there as friends. Just to go into a quick overview of the Christopher Reeve's life and his career. I mean, it summarizes his career leading up to the historical role of Superman, like how he got to Superman, and then how Superman basically kind of. You could say that was his base, that was his foundation. I know, we're gonna get into it, and I know he wanted to move on from that. When he got to part 3, I think it was, he just wasn't in it as much as he was. But that's what made him, ultimately. He did go to what do you call that, theater school and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, he did theater school. Yeah, he's a theater.
Yeah, and he was kind of advised by his theater teacher or someone to be like, "Don't do it. This is a big mistake." And he saw what's his name, man, The Godfather.
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando. He was like, well, Marlon Brando's in it. They're going to pay me a shitload of money. Someone told him, I can't remember who sold it to him. I think maybe it was his theater coach, actually. Someone said to him,
unless they're paying you $1 billion, then go for it.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it's leading up to the Superman role. And again, this documentary ties in so close to him being Superman because, like I said, he put the face on Superman, and Superman's supposed to be indestructible. And to see our Superman or the Superman of our generation to what happened to him, it
Mm.
was almost like a cultural shock.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
100%.
yeah, so that's why it kind of relates back to Superman. But then again, it speaks on the inspiration and the heart of Superman and not giving up because we'll get into it, but there was moments of giving up, and he didn't, which was amazing and inspiring. Um,
Oh,
his work in the Superman films, like he took it so serious, when he first went in for audition and stuff, scrawny little guy, but he understood the implications of playing this character,
yeah,
and what it can
definitely.
mean to the world. So he knew he had to bulk up and he put the work in, and it's great to see. It's great to see that he even then, with superhero. Well, when I say even then, it was probably the first one properly with
Yeah.
superhero movies where someone wanted to bulk up and look the part of a superhero, which is a strong person. You know what I mean? A strong
Mm.
human. I guess he's not human, but a strong human physique and everything.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's right.
and then, he done a whole bunch of other roles and stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't familiar, and I not like I followed his career. Maybe I was young then. I was just interested in Superman. But there was a bunch of other stuff that he done. Some love roles. He done some roles with Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
He done like an army, like when he was in like I don't know, loads of other sort of stuff. Roles. He done theatre plays and all that sort of stuff. But notably, like I said, he's just known for Superman, but should have like respect for the rest of his career. If you're a fan of his, especially back then, I'm sure you followed his career. I have to be honest with you, because I was a kid and I was just interested in Superman. Seeing Christopher Reeves anywhere would have been amazing, but I would always refer to him as Superman. And even to this day, I guess I would refer to him as our Superman. But it
Mm.
goes beyond just the superhero character just because of his charity that he put together.
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, man. So like Kibbs, just get you involved, man. I mean, in regards to the documentary structure and tone of it, like how do you think that it was structured? I mean, like does it use like good use of the interviews, the archive footage in a and does it dramatize it in a way for it to explain it properly to where it's getting to? Like what are your thoughts on the way that it was structured?
Listen,
And are there any key moments or chapters throughout, like, the documentary, his career rise, the accident advocate, whatever it is that you want to just highlight on and stuff. But yeah, give your thoughts, bro, on the way it was structured.
nah, listen, what Ian and Peter have done, structured it very well. Going through thousands of VHS videos, finding the clip, putting them together, have a narrative structure to it. I think that's the most important part because remember what they did with Michael J. Fox still. That was my favorite film last year, bro. And that's a documentary as well. That was my favorite film. So when you do a documentary film and you do it in a way where you're doing it in a way where there's a chronological time period between each of them and where it bounces back and forth, but you keep a linear story with it, that's very hard to do, bro. That's very hard to do because remember this does jump back and forth. You got chapters in it. It jumps back and forth. You got chapters, uh, but it still has this tone and pace to it that works really well. So, it'll get you really emotional and then, go back in time. It'll get you really emotional and go back in time. So it kind of gives you some space to breathe because you'll end up just crying all the time, bro. Uh, you know. So I think what Ian and Peter did was absolutely amazing with the footage that they put together. I mean, to think, when they did this project, it was only consent from the Reeves family, and they were happy to just go out there and just put it. They didn't realize Warner Brothers and DC would jump on this, bro.
Mm.
I didn't think they knew that Warner Brothers and DC would jump on this, which kind of made me think about the project that I'm working with on with it's gone out of my head now.
The
There's
one
a Superman project
Superman?
that I'm working. Yeah, I'm working on a
Yeah.
Superman project as well, which is, uh, you know, probably
Is that,
reason why it didn't get picked up because
I was gonna say,
this
is that
was
the one
coming out.
where you're supposed to go to Cleveland and stuff?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
So interesting. That just clocked right now. All right, cool. Anyway, listen, things will happen. Things always happen for a reason, right? Anyway,
Hmm.
so yeah. they did really well. They did really well on that, bro. I mean, the key parts of it. I mean, we already know the accident, right? And I think what they
Yeah.
highlighted very, very well, very, very well, is the family, bro, unity. You know,
Mm.
remember he's coming from two different relationships as well. Matthew and Alexandra from the first marriage. Will is from the second one. So the way they stuck together, bro. You know, Matthew moved over once Dad went into hospital. Uh, the way they all stuck together, and then you know the tragic story. I think the real story as well is about Dana. You know, they didn't have life care after life care with people that suffered paralysis, bro. It's because
Mm.
of the Dana Foundation that there's an aftercare service now. And I didn't realize as well another thing that they highlighted, which makes me make me love him even more as Superman, is that he was an advocate as well, bro.
Mm.
He was an advocate for certain things. He had people in high places where he could make decisions like that. And once this incident happened to him, and he realized, fuck, there's no care, and people are just fucking dying, and there's no aftercare or nothing happening. That he could pull those strings and say, listen, I'm going to advocate for this shit. He was doing it beforehand with other things. But I didn't realize, you know, there's a guy who's actually embodied Superman without saying, I'm not Superman. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And you know, imagine he was around now. What would he be like now? You know what I mean? There is
Yeah,
one scene in
exactly.
there that got me, but we'll talk about that later on. But overall,
Yeah.
bro, they highlighted Dana, who played an amazing part of sticking around and helping and creating aftercare as well. And you know, highlighting that he was an advocate, that kind of really touched me. That I think that opened up even more. Like as you said, like I'll always know him as Superman, even when I've seen some of his other films. You know, he is a great actor. He just didn't have a good success. I mean, I think this is what told you about what success can do to you and how it can bring you down as well. You get
Mm.
typecasted, right? I think he's an
Mm.
amazing theater actor. That's what he grew up in. It's what he did. I think he some of the films he did were good as well. He did one after, when he got back into like direct, like what inspired this, the inspiring part. After all of this shit, my guy went on a storm, made people know about the spinal injuries and quadriplegic injuries and got back into the directing chair, got back into the acting chair. He still did it, bro. Who does that? Who
Mm.
does that? You know that moment, the moment when the mum says, nah, switch off the machine, man.
Mm.
And his wife said, no, we're staying. We're going to work on this together. Alhamdulillah, man. That was a delightful moment, man. Yeah. That's a super family, bro. That's a super family.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my part on the tone and the rest of it. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they like structured it so well to kind of give you an understanding of, between interviews, archive footage and all that, and making it like a
Yeah.
drama type movie to make you kind of follow his journey, like from life, from the beginning to end. Like these
Yeah.
days, you get podcasts and you can hear someone's story and all that sort of stuff. And it's difficult to kind of put a full story, let alone a movie that's written and everything like, but a real life story, because there's so much to a human life story. Ours, let alone ours, but you're talking about Christopher Reeves, who's out there in the spotlight and everything like that. So putting that into a what, hour and a half, hour and 40 minute sort of
Yeah.
documentary where he highlights the main things that he and his family probably wanted, and the directors probably wanted the audience to know about him, because there was
Mm.
so much things of it in his life, of course. But just to put that and just to make it engaging enough with all different kinds of emotion, uplifting, informative, emotional, sadness, hope, all of that within, in and out, cut in and out. I agree. I think there was just so much to it. And, that accident, of course, everyone knows about it. It was just like one of those things where, like, they were saying, like, a, a centimeter this way, he could have died. A centimeter this way, he could have just been okay. And it just landed exactly where it has. And ultimately, that led to the foundation. And he used his platform, which is important, like, you can't force anyone to use their platform however they want, especially we talk about it a lot, with the situation in the world today. But for him to use his platform and really push it, and I think
Mm.
that was important. And then we'll get into that. But if it didn't, if he didn't, it's messed up as you say, man. Like if life didn't turn out the way it did for him, and then if his wife didn't and family didn't stick by his side, none of it would have gone to fruition. You know what I mean? That the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
foundation, or as big
Exactly.
as it could have. So yeah, I think they set a really good, kind of structure and tone to the documentary to really kind of let you understand his life. I mean, going into like key themes that were explored. I mean, obviously it was around the Superman legacy, right? And the documentary does portray Reeves' impact on as Superman, right? And the cultural significance of his performance and how it influenced future portrayals. And we spoke, in the intro, I kind of briefly spoke on that, but he is our Superman, just like we spoke about, Chadwick Boseman, even though it was just a couple of movies. He's our Black Panther. He's who put the
Oh,
face on it.
yeah.
He's who put the accent on it. He's who put the shape. Like that's the same thing with Christopher Reeve. He put that look. He put the hairstyle. He put the physique. He put the brilliant acting between Clark Kent and Superman. How he can turn that on and off. The vulnerability of Clark Kent, but the supremeness of Superman, but they're the same sort
Mm.
of person, and kind of portraying what we all have in us. We all have our vulnerabilities, but we all have supremeness, supermanness in us as well in
Yeah,
different
yeah.
aspects. And he was able to kind of put that against him. I mean, his personal resilience, exploring how it highlights like his life after the accident, which was tough. I mean, that what you just mentioned about his mother saying, we should call it off. He's breathing through what's it called, an incubator? No, it's not
Yeah,
incubator.
yeah, no, a ventilator.
Ventilator. And I remember them saying that when his wife looked at him, even though he was paralyzed and everything, but he felt and he saw no hesitation. Like if he sensed an ounce of hesitation from his life, he would have said, like, call it. Because there was no hesitation from his wife, and shout outs to Dana, like he was like, okay, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live for you, which ultimately led to where it did. And then he
Yeah.
advocated for the spinal research disability awareness, which, again, is these sort of things, unfortunately, are not in the mainstream, I wouldn't say. Do you know what I mean? It's like
No,
people
it's
have to
not.
make them aware, and someone like Christopher Reeves had to make this aware. And this documentary does balances between like being a superhero persona and his real life, because he had real life struggles. He did come from a broken family. He was almost a part of a broken family. I mean, yes, his kids united, which was amazing. And again, Dana was amazing because she accepted his
Mm.
kids from his other wife, and she even sent her a letter saying that I'm going to look after them, and they're super nice, and that's all that sort of nice. But
Mm.
there is a reality between him as a superhero, as Superman, because I would call him Superman. I'm not gonna lie, but he's got a life too. He's human at the end of the day. He's an actor
Yeah,
at the end of the day. But yeah, what was
yeah.
your thought on like the key themes that they kind of explored throughout this?
Listen, it says it in the title, man. Even though it's based around Superman, a father, a husband, uh, all those key moments, you know what I mean? A boyfriend, a friend, you know. Uh, I think they've covered every aspect of what most of us are as human beings. They still grounded Christopher Reeves to a point. Like, my guy still was having a game, during that time in the 70s. You know, didn't believe in marriage. A lot of people don't even think about that. Even though he got married on second time with Dana, he didn't believe in it in the first time around. But he's got respect and understanding. And what I mean, when you come to a point in a relationship and you can actually be man enough and woman enough, or brave enough to say like this is not working, and something's wrong with me, and I need to find my place. And yeah, a struggling artist, bro, something that most of us go through as human beings, the struggling part of the reasons why, and why isn't this working, why isn't that happening, and then getting the role of Superman, which plays a big part of it. But then his creativity, he was a creative guy, but active as well, super active. He was super active. If it wasn't horse riding, it was doing things. It was outdoors doing things, and he was always with the kids as well. He was always present, whether he was working on projects or not. And yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that I still can't believe, some of the Superman movies were shot here. Like Superman 4 was mostly shot in Milton Keynes, bro. That's
Mm.
crazy. He does a great speech, and that is done in like Milton Keynes town center, bro. It's sick. Uh,
Mm.
But yeah,
The
like
one, the
just like,
speech that is the speech that is given in to the president and stuff. Is that the speech you're talking
no,
about?
no, no, no. There's another one. Like I think it's in a crowd, but I can't remember what scene it was. But I'll find it and I'll share it. It's actually really good. This is probably one of my favorite quotes about, we're all the same people. Once we go
Mm,
up and look at the earth and they see that little dot, we're all the same.
mm.
One of my favorite quotes. Uh, but yeah, no, I feel like again, key things that they highlighted in his life as a friend, as a husband, as a father, I think were really important. I mean, bro, how many tearjerkers were in there, bro?
Yeah, I
How
mean,
many
well,
tearjerkers? Yeah.
let's get into like the emotional impact and takeaways, man. Like bro, the tearjerker is always tough when his son, the family members are talking about him and remembering him, and they break out into tears. It always that gets you as well because this is not acting tears, this is real tears, right?
This is real tears, yeah.
In a
Yeah.
movie, it gets to you, right? When they're acting an emotional scene. Whereas this one, this is real. We're actually talking about a real human being who's Christopher Reeves. You know what I'm trying to say? So it is. There's loads of tear-jerking moments. Also, just his friendship with Robin Williams and just knowing
Oh,
what happens to Robin Williams later on in his life as well. Like it just kind of because he was there for him, and he was the only guy that would go into the hospital and crack a joke. Typical
yeah, he
Robin
dressed up
Williams
as this
fashion.
guy, innit?
Yeah, yeah, it's just amazing. And then, so just knowing that, like, and just seeing that friendship just got me emotional. I mean, throughout the whole thing, I think there's a lot of tear-jerking emotions, but I also
That
think
one,
that there's,
that one destroyed me. It's still getting me now.
mm,
It's still getting me now because I think it was Glenn Close who says that if Chris was around, Robin would still be around as well. And they had such a they didn't re they emphasized on how cool their friendship was as well. Uh, and I think that just it still get I can't believe that word, that moment there really got me. And I'm like, how does because Robin plays a big part in their friendship as well, and not many people know that. And like what he did for Chris to keep him going on the day of the accident, he threw a party for him to be like, let's celebrate. You know what I mean? So you don't even have to see this as something really bad. Uh,
yeah,
it still got me.
I didn't know that they had such a friendship. I really didn't know that, and that's what got to me as well because the outcome of Robin Williams' life. But I mean, but listen, there was a lot of emotional, sad
Yeah.
tearjerkers like that, but there was also a lot of inspiring and hope and admiration
Oh, bro, massive
tearjerker
amount.
tear moments. You know what I mean? I mean, the audience, what you can like kind of learn from this as well, because I love a success story. I love a
Yeah.
success story, but what I love and then get inspired so much about a success story is just like when someone gets from nowhere to success and then drops all the way down back up to success. I mean, there's nothing greater than that and gives me inspiration than that. I love those sort of stories. Those are the type of stories and characters. And, when you're on podcasts that I like listening to, I love listening
Mm.
to. And this was a perfect example of it because, okay, yes, he was a young, handsome dude trying to become an actor, trying to find his way. He finds success in one of the biggest things ever and something that he's going
Mm.
to leave a legacy in the world forever
Yeah, yeah, forever.
is Superman. And then Superman's going to live forever. Whoever the actor is, no matter what, 50, 60 years from now, they're going to be like, yeah, back in the days, it was this where it started from. I know there was the one before, with all respects to him. Forgive me, I can't remember his
George
name.
Reeves, George Reeves.
Okay, so, but, Christopher Reeves really put that face on it. And that's a legacy. But then to drop after this action, literally died to bring himself back up, like the courage it took, the family, the love, all of that to kind of come back together for him to start the foundation, but to live, bro, to live.
Yeah,
The other part
yeah.
that gave me goosebumps? He had movement. I couldn't believe because he was
I
adamant
didn't
that
know
I'm
that.
gonna move.
That's
I didn't
right.
know that either. He was
That's
adamant
right.
that I'm gonna move. And we'll talk like some of the other stuff that he gets into with like stem cell therapy and all that sort of stuff, which I'm hearing a lot about now. And he was talking about it back then. But the fact that he started moving, I was like, holy shit. I literally was like, I got up from my seat. I put
Yeah,
on like
yeah,
a
yeah.
Superman like posture. I was like, this is him right now. I saw him as Superman at that moment because I thought I didn't know that he moved. I didn't know that he moved. That was amazing.
They never sang a dance. They didn't really sing and dance about that, did they? So amazing. Bro, that scene gave me proper goosebumps. That gave me proper goosebumps.
Amazing.
Amazing moment, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what I'm saying, man. Like this documentary really touches on all emotional strings. I mean, and look, and that's what I think what was so great about this documentary. Like a movie, for example, which we all love, can have so many different emotions, but I feel like a lot of time in movies, the emotions are fixed. There's a base
Yeah,
emotion,
yeah,
be it
exactly. Yeah.
sadness, happiness, aggression, heroism, whatever it is. Whereas this one was a mix all the way around, like all the way in, from emotional to courageous to inspiring and everything like that, which is again something that keeps you engaged in the story and something that's part of the storytelling, which is amazing throughout this. I mean, moving on to, from the cinematic and the technical sort of aspects, like the use of which I found, which was again, what makes the documentary nice and clean and kind of like that doesn't make it messy, so you can really sit back and when I say enjoy it, learn his story, you know what I mean? So you
Mm.
don't get carried away, you don't pick up your phone and fit. The use of music and the editing and the pacing, everything was just great. There was some like there was like I say, certain interviews like we spoke about with Robin Williams and stuff, which really kind of uplifted the whole documentary and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
and the whole like the narration of the storytelling and using Superman as his backbone and the kryptonite, ultimately, which was kind of,
Oh,
which was Superman's weakness, right? We all know from the comic books, but they used that as like a metaphor throughout
of
this
what he was suffering.
documentary. Yeah, and I thought that was, how do I pull it, man? Without, because obviously this is a happy story, but sad story as well, because we're talking about Christopher Reeve's life, but like just relating it back to Superman, who he is, who he embodied and whatnot. Just that kryptonite and showing that, which was relatable for Superman fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
relatable.
100%, 100%. Because what, yeah, and as a visual guy, you know me, as a visual artist, bro, seeing that and the way it was represented, and I was like, oh my God. Like, it's kind of, as you said, it's geeky moment, right? It's like that geeky moment because that grabs all of, like for me, the comic book fans and the people that love the Superman movie and like the mythology of it and how the mythology of it works so well with this person's life story. Like it's crazy, bro. So good. I think they made a great decision doing that. Very, very, very unique. And oh, what was it? I need to get the name.
I mean, look,
Uh,
while you're looking up, I mean, like from that perspective, I mean, it's so relatable because we all have our kryptonite, whatever it is.
yes, we do.
And if you was to channel, if something was to happen to you emotionally, physically, whatever it is, and you were able to kind of visualize where that kryptonite is attacking you at that moment, say emotionally, I have emotional
Yeah.
issues, people do and whatnot, I get angry and stuff like that. If I was to channel where on my body am I feeling this kryptonite, my mind, my body, my heart, my gut, my emotions, like that it's relatable because we all have that, man, and it might help you understand how you can control your emotions or where you're hurting and allow you to express it, I'm trying to say. And that's what they were able to visually show with that metaphor of kryptonite, because we all have it, we all have our weaknesses, that's just as facts.
I think it's such a great you as you said, it's such a great metaphor that they did that. Uh, Ilan Eshkeri, Eshkeri, his soundtrack, bro. Remember how that documentary started off? Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God, that was so nice, but very heartwarming soundtrack. So shout outs to him. Another great soundtrack and amazing composer. He does usually a lot of games and things like that. He's done a couple of documentaries as well. He did the soundtrack for the NASA launch as well. So very, very, very good. So shout outs to him as well because I think that soundtrack was just beautiful, man. It just went with it. It went with the story completely. Like it had a tone and a beat with it, which was really good.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, look, I just wanted to share some highlights, Christopher Reeves compared to Superman within this documentary, because they definitely, like I said, what we've spoken about, they've connected. It's in the title. But I just
Yeah,
wanted to kind of go through some highlights. So, tribute to Reeves' Superman legacy, obviously throughout this whole documentary. So, footage
yeah.
from Christopher Reeve's Superman film is included. Highlighting his defying moments of the Man of Steel, the celebration he embodies as his embodiment of the classic hopeful Superman envision of DC Comics. The iconic phrase, you'll believe a man can fly. And that was iconic. They spoke about that when they first, back then, was able to portray him flying, and that was big, let alone CGI and all that stuff that happens now. Back
Yeah.
then, that was huge, making people believe that this guy's actually flying. So, appearance, subtly in interviews and promotional materials, a nod to the tagline from Superman, the movie 1978. Illusions of the kryptonite heritage that we spoke about. So, interview discussed Reeves' portrayal of Superman as a symbol of hope and resilience, aligned with the themes of Superman's kryptonite legacy, often seen in the comics. And we spoke about it, how they've done it along the spine. But even if you notice, when he was going through not just the physical injuries, but the emotional injuries, the kryptonite appeared again. And as we just said, we all have our kryptonite from physical to emotional abilities, like through our body and everything. Parallels to Superman's persona. The documentary draws comparison between Reeves' real life resilience after the accident and Superman's indomitability. Hopefully I said that right. Abominable will. His
Mm.
willpower, anyway, put it that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Reflecting themes preventing All-Star Superman and Superman, whatever happens to the man, or whatever happened to the man of tomorrow. And again, that's in everyone as well. And I think that's what he wanted to portray, not just in his movie, but in his real life. And I think, I really think that role helped him as well after his real life. You know what I mean? Because he wanted to
Yeah.
portray those characteristics in that physical form that he was after that. Some of the supporting cast and creators, cameos from behind the scenes, creators like Richard Donner, the director of Superman the movie, was in it. There was archive footage of him, of Christopher Reeve's colleagues and friends, provide deep comic book and cinematic nostalgia, as we spoke about some of the friends.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve's foundation, the foundation's mission is subtly linked to Superman's ethos of using power for good, reflecting Superman's role as a protector of Earth and humanity in the comics. Symbolic imagery. The documentary uses visuals of Reeves in his Superman costume alongside personal moments, showcasing a duality of Clark Kent and Superman, which is a reoccurring theme in the DC lore. So just, of course they were gonna kind of link things to certain Superman things and comics and the DC kind of characteristics and whatnot. And this is what makes comic book characters, not just Superman, but comic book characters in general, as so relatable. This is why when they do these characters and people think, they're just kiddie stuff, you don't understand until you read them how relatable they are to human beings. You know what I mean? And you don't know what kind of impact Superman has made on people's lives, let alone Christopher Reeves and his life, let alone look at the world, man. Look at the fans. People like Geekout still being one of them. The guy's so enthusiastic about Superman. You know what I mean? We take inspiration from it as well. So just absolutely amazing that they were able to kind of capture that in there. Look, I don't know if there's any areas of improvement, anything that you wanted to see, you thought that what might have been missing more that they should have touched on within this documentary.
No, I think for people who don't know about his life, I think this is a perfect dose of Christopher Reeve. I think it's a perfect dose to understand who he was, what he went through, what he overcame, and what happened, and his everything he left behind, his legacy that he left behind, which is immense, bro. And then his kids, his wonderful kids, the kids that had unity to stick together and then continue this legacy. They continue his legacy with this as well. It grows even more, bro. They didn't have to do much because Dad, already was Superman. That's a legacy in itself. But to continue the story of what they do for the Reeves Foundation and for Dana's foundation as well is amazing, absolutely amazing, insane, bro, insane.
Yeah.
After watching that and then speaking to the directors, which was fun in itself. And you know what? I just got the clip of the interview, so I'm going to pop that up onto the YouTube as well, and I'll have that on the podcast for streaming as well. But to be surprised by the Reeves family after the tears we just had, so heartwarming, so kind. It was really a very, very emotional moment. I couldn't actually believe it, bro. I'm that kid from Tottenham, bro. Getting to meet, like you want to meet Stan Lee, you want to meet Christopher Reeves. I got to meet the kids, the next generation, which is insanely cool. So absolutely heartwarming. They were very cool and like they knew we were all emotional. Like, we were like, we didn't, you don't know what to ask. Like, how you doing? Are you okay? No. Look at what they've gone through and what they've overcome. Like they're fine. But they miss their dad, they miss their mum. You know what I mean? That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's what makes it so relatable. You know, we have parents too. Our father is our Superman. To every
Yeah.
I want to believe every not look listen, you can't not everyone in the world, but like 95% of fathers out there are Superman to their kids, you know. The moms are Superwoman to their kids. I mean, and they will do that like by naturally, not by overdoing anything. It's just being a parent, you know, and that love
Mm.
that you give and that anything you do, and just to lose that parent, regardless of what age you are, man, it's a part of life. But the way they were able to, you know, just carry on his legacy, to just go through that, you know, losing them a year apart. I mean, I
Mm.
can't even. It's almost like you lost your father once. Because that part that got me emotional. I can't remember which son it was when he kind of turned around and he was saying that was the last time he saw his father walk. I can't remember which son it was,
That's
but that
Matthew. Matthew said that.
Matthew.
Matthew. Yeah.
So
The
that was
eldest. Yeah.
tough because that's almost losing your father once, and they almost did, and then for him to come back and just have, you know, everything, living his life again in that way, director of the foundation, movement, all that sort of stuff, stem cell therapy, and all this sort of stuff, and then actually losing him, which was you know tough, and then losing their mother a year later. I can't even imagine. And you know what? You know, as hard as it sounds, one day it will happen to us. We have to face the reality of the life
Yeah.
that Allah's given to us, right? This is the way it is. This is the way life is. And this is why, you know, we have faith in religion. They have faith possibly in other things and whatnot. But they were able to use that to kind of build the legacy and continue the legacy of their father. And that will continue forever because I'm sure their kids, you know, will continue that legacy for their grandfather. And that's what we all want to do in our own ways.
Yeah.
We're trying to pass on the legacy of our family, you know, our grandparents, our parents, hoping that our kids will pass on our legacies in our circles, not in
Mm.
the world. If it happens in the world, amazing. If not, but they had a platform and they continue to use that platform for good, which is amazing. I don't listen. I don't think there's anything more I would wanted from this. I think this was a perfect amount for me to just kind of take and absorb. And I couldn't imagine if I was there and meeting them, I wouldn't know what to say either, man. I'll just say thank you. You know, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your father. Thank you for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
just know what you
exactly.
lot
Yeah.
do. Makes an impact in the world. And what he did in his life as Superman and after makes an impact to the world and to people. Um, so I mean, like, you know, like moving on to like final thoughts, how would you kind of like summarize your overall impression of the documentary? Like, who is this documentary for? Do you think it's just Superman fans, film enthusiasts, anyone seeking inspiration? If you wanted to give it a rating, you can if you want, but whatever, like, what's your final kind of thoughts on the documentary?
No, listen, bro. I think it's a wonderful life story told in a very good narrative structure about Christopher Reeve. Yeah, Superman part of it, but I think it's for anybody. Anybody who's wanting to know about more about Christopher Reeve, I think it's great. The Superman element is always the extra bonus, I would say, but I think for it's for anybody. Anybody who wants to know about Christopher Reeve, his legacy, what he left behind, this is definitely to watch because remember, there's that moment we didn't speak about was when his comeback at the Oscars.
Oh yes, beautiful
And
moment. Yes,
that
yes,
was
yes.
a emotional, really like
It was Robin
uh
Williams that helped him got there, right?
yeah. So like a really key moment in his life to kind of uplift everything and start this journey that he got on. So definitely for everybody. This is not just for comic book fans or movie fans. This is for everybody. Make sure you check it out. Definitely. Definitely one
Yeah,
to
I,
watch.
I agree. If you're looking for some kind of inspiration in life, if you're going through something in life and you just need that inspiration, it's definitely there for you. And of course, if you are a Superman fan, if you're a Christopher Reeves fan, a movie buff and whatnot, yes, that naturally is for you if you want to know. But if
Yeah.
you're looking for some kind of inspiration, I feel like this is the type of documentary you want to see. This is the type of character you wanna see. This is the type of family you want to get to know of and whatnot. Like know that yes, they're human as well, but they're also using their platform and their, and what happened in their life for hopefully the advantages of the world, and hopefully it will carry on. It's still a shame. I still think it's still a shame that they will spend billions on billions on war rather than these sort of things. The any kind of disease and whatnot. I do think that's a shame. But the fact that Christopher Reeves was able to use his platform, use his connections to get as much government funding and whatnot, that helped. You know what I mean? Because if it worked for him and his inspiration, his connections, it wouldn't have been as much. But they're able to get so much more. So I agree. Like anyone, do check it out. It's an emotional roller coaster, man. Like check it
No, it
out.
definitely is. Definitely is.
Go through the emotions. Learn. You'll get more respect for not just him and his family, but the condition, the spinal cord
Yeah, yeah,
condition.
definitely.
Yeah.
Quadriplegia, yeah, it's something that people should know about. And listen, it's because of them that it's worldwide and people know about it and what people go through. Listen, look at the stories from the people that did say, like, look at that scientist. Uh she is amazing, but not many people knew about it. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm saying is putting things like that on the map, people need to know. But the thing is, the higher powers, bro, the higher powers of the societies we live in, do not want to put that out there in open because they want to put greed is a horrible, horrible thing, bro. And that's what people put in front of lives. And some people are okay with it. We're in a reality where some people are okay with it. But Mr. Reeve put that out there on the map. And so did Dana as well with the aftercare, because they didn't even have aftercare, bro. Can you believe
Mm.
that? So I gotta say, like the States, it's very uh it's all about take, 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 and not give, 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 give. It's all about take. And the same thing now is starting to happen in the UK as well. So uh people need to stand up for those things that are not being taken care of. And like, another thing that's like really bugged me at the moment, I know we got issues in the world, but when it comes to like local communities and stuff like that, the government is they cut those funding. And now these kids don't have nowhere to go. That's why we have a rate of crime up because what are people gonna do in that sort of situation? But yeah, that's a bigger conversation to have. It's all about
Yeah.
awareness, and I think that's what Christopher Reeve did was awareness.
Yeah, and these days, because of social, could you think about his what kind of reach he would have got now with the social medias and all that sort of stuff? I mean, like they're doing it now, but back then the reach they got, could you imagine if it was now, it would just be so much bigger.
Exactly.
So done an amazing thing to start, like I said, starting off a legacy, man. He didn't just leave a legacy of Superman, he left a legacy of the foundation, which brings
Mhm.
awareness and whatnot. And in my eyes, that's like true diversity and equity, like really getting everyone involved, not just forcing it, like really making people aware that, listen, these people exist, not just in that, in any condition or whatnot. There's hope, they're intelligent, they're smart, they can go through uni and all this sort of stuff, be scientists and everything like that. You just got to find, like I said, spend less on wars and invest in people, man. We're the people. You're supposed to be the government, invest in the people, but that's not reality of the rulers of the
Of course
world,
not, bro. Of course
unfortunately.
not.
So it's up to the people because the people can make things happen. But yeah, beautiful documentary, guys. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. Please do take a look. Please do support it. There's foundation links that you can donate to if you want to be a part of, just be a part of that story and help people out. But yeah, guys, I mean, that was our review of Christopher Reeve's Superman story, the real life Superman, the person who put Superman in all of us, the person who made us all believe that we can be Superman.
Yeah.
But beautiful documentary, guys. Check it out. Please, guys, please comment, give your thoughts. What did you think of the documentary? Did you like it? What would you want to see more? How did it make you feel? Did it inspire you? Please do comment, do like, subscribe, all that stuff. And Kibbs, man, yeah, final thoughts, take us out, man.
No, make sure you check it out. Don't miss it. It's absolutely amazing. I know it's still playing in selective cinemas, and I still know that the director and like both the directors and producers and writers still on tour around the UK doing Q&As with this special movie. So definitely check it out. As always, guys, make sure you follow us on social media. We're on X, Blue Sky, which is the new one. We're on there. TikTok, Instagram, and make sure you subscribe here on our YouTube page. As always, guys, massive thank you for all the love recently. There's still 70% of you that's still not subscribed, but you still watch the videos. So thanks for watching, but click on the subscribe so you get notified of when we have the videos up. We do daily content. A massive thank you to everybody who has donated to the cause on my Instagram page, which was on the Brothers Geekout, and my personal page. We hit the target last night, which is absolutely amazing. So super cool. So I'm going to run another one as well, guys. All the money goes to medical aid for the people of Palestine and Lebanon at the moment. So guys, thank you so much. I can't believe that. That was like sudden shock yesterday. I got that message to say you've gone over your target. So thank you so much for everybody who has donated. So, all right. Other than that, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. One love. Peace.
Peace.